One defensive tackle that we wanted to talk about that isn't 280 and is more like 320 is defensive tackle Christen Miller out of Georgia. What does he bring to the table that other defensive tackles don't?
Now he was a really interesting watch, Maddie, because this D tackle class, and there's a lot of good ones, by the way. It's a good D tackle class, but a good many of them are really just run defenders. They're very has the ability to develop into a really good three down player who can be a factor as an interior pass rusher. I think that he's the kind of player that can be effective if you want a one gap and have him hit gaps. I think he can two gap where he hand fights with an offensive lineman and then sort of plays off that contact. I think he really knew how to use his arm length effectively. I watched him last summer, and then of course I watched him again this year. And to me, of the sort of the main guys that you're probably going to
be there at 26. But he also because he's 6'4", 320, he's got the size, but he's also got this upside, like you said, to be a three-down player and be a guy that's like, wow, they've got this guy's really good, a second contract kind of guy for sure.
And guys, just to make a point, which I think, look, we know fans, they always want that first round pick to come right in and be a star. I mean, that's just nature of fans. Hey, that's why we love the business. Without fans, we have no business.
Right.
But the bottom line is sometimes guys, like, I don't know if Miller is going to step right in and be great, but I think that as he develops and is cultivated and gets coached, that he has a chance to be, Steve, just what you said, a really good three-down player. Whether that happens week one, whoever it is they're playing, that may not be the case. But that doesn't mean he's a bad draft choice.
Right. You look at him and watch him play, and he's got a 10-year career ahead of him for sure.
I agree. You and I see him the exact same way. To me, he was probably the most complete of sort of the defensive tackles that are being talked about, as top 5, top 60 tackle types.
Georgia pedigree. They're good at producing those types of players. Another defensive tackle is Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech, about 6'3", 320 pounds, the type of guy who clogs holes and is that space eater. What did you see out of Lee Hunter's game that could translate to the next level?
Yeah, and he's a perfect example of what we were talking about, of what is send control and displace interior O-lineman, normally the center, which is the way he played at Texas Tech, a little too upright in his movement. And as Steve knows, as soon as you get upright, it doesn't matter how big or how strong you are, you're all of a sudden not going to have the power and you're not going to have the quickness. One thing he definitely needs to get better at, this could well be a technique thing, is he needs to do a better job stalemating and defeating double teams, which you absolutely see when you're a 0 and a 1 technique going inside at D tackle. And at this moment in time, again, I'm not going to sit here and define his whole career, but at this point in his development, he doesn't really possess any meaningful inside pass rush. He's a run defense player.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things, there's not too many Ted Washingtons around who can, you get 3 guys to try and push them and they can't get it done. So yeah,
right.
But there is technique involved. It's not just weighing, it's not just weighing 350 pounds. There's a lot of technique in what these guys do. That's why it's so difficult.
Yeah. No, it's hard, and then they have to be taught that at this level. They're not really taught that, at the college level, just because there's not a lot of time.
Right.
One player that's been mocked to Buffalo a few times at number 26 is Ohio State defensive tackle Kayden McDonald, 6'2", 236, was unanimous first-team All-American last season, has a little bit of burst to his game. What do you love about what Kayden McDonald can do?
This guy might have been the best run defender of all tackle, but this guy made over 60 tackles as a defensive tackle, playing as basically a run defender. He was a really fun watch. I mean, this guy he's an elite run defender. I'm sure he'll step right in and play as a rookie in base defense fronts as a 0 technique or a 1 technique. I think he can play effectively in either 4-man fronts or 5-2 fronts. But the next question for him is, can he develop into some kind of inside pass rusher? Now, early in his career, that won't be the case. But for what he is, he's a really high-level prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You see him, you turn the tape on, and you can't single block him at the college level. I mean, you might be able to find a guard here or center here in the pros that may get it done, but that guy was was throwing guards and centers around, and you can't push him backwards with one guy. He holds the line or puts your offensive lineman back in the backfield. This guy was really dominant up front in a man-to-man contest.
No question. And by the way, the fact that he made so many tackles, that's a trait, because there's a lot of guys that, can control offensive linemen and let someone else make a play. But the fact that he could do that and then have the balance and body control to play off that contact, which he's being proactive in controlling, and then make tackles was really remarkable. I mean, like I said, I don't recall, Steve, ever seeing a D tackle with 65, 66 tackles. I mean, that's incredibly rare.
Right, they get 60, 65 double teams, and then let somebody else make the tackle.
True.
That's
correct. Yeah.
You're right. That's something you got to look at and say, wow, that's different. And you got to, and that's So
What if the loudest move the Buffalo Bills could make this offseason is not chasing some brand new receiver, but bringing back the one name that already changed Josh Allen's career once before? Ha, Bills Mafia, let's talk about it, because the Stefon Diggs idea is spicy, emotional, complicated, and yes, at least possible on paper right now. Diggs is no longer on the Patriots after New England informed him he would be released in March, and league coverage has him among the notable remaining free agents. At the same time, Buffalo's current roster already includes Josh Allen, DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer, Keon Coleman, Mecole Hardman, and Trent Sherfield. So this would not be about saving a broken receiver room. This would be about asking a dangerous contender question. Can the Bills make an already strong offense feel downright unfair? Now let's keep this real from the start, Bills Mafia. This is not some "it's official" story. It is not even a public Buffalo rumor with confirmed negotiations that I could point to. It is a possibility story, but it is a possibility worth talking about because Diggs still has real juice. Reuters reported that in his one season with New England, he posted 85 catches for 1,013 yards and 4 touchdowns, giving him a 7th career 1,000-yard season before the Patriots moved on. NFL.com's current free agent ranking still describes him as an excellent route runner and third down option. So the talent conversation is real. The bigger questions are fit, money, and whether Buffalo would even want to revisit that chapter. And football-wise, oh man, you can absolutely see the vision. DJ Moore gives Buffalo explosive run-after-catch ability and a proven outside weapon after arriving via trade in March. Shakir gives you trust and feel in the structure of the offense. Coleman gives you size and upside. But Diggs, if he still looks like himself, gives you that polished, nasty, chain-moving, veteran route-running presence that Josh Allen already knows how to use. Yeah, that matters, because with Josh, this is not just about having receivers. It is about having answers. Diggs at his best is an answer against tight coverage, an answer on third down, an answer when the play call needs timing and separation instead of chaos. Put him back in a room with DJ Moore, and now defenses are dealing with two very different problems at once. One threatens after the catch and vertically in a different way. The other wins with tempo, feel, leverage, and chemistry history with your quarterback. That is how offenses become a headache for everybody in the AFC. So how could Buffalo actually do it? First, because Diggs is a free agent, this would be a signing, not a trade. That helps a lot. No draft compensation, no bidding with another front office. The problem is not picks. The problem is whether Brandon Beane believes the reunion is worth the money and the attention. Second, the Bills would almost certainly need this to be a short-term, value-driven deal, a one-year swing, maybe a one-year deal with incentives, maybe something that rewards production, availability, and team success. That is the smart solution here, because you are not signing 28-year-old Diggs. You are signing a 32-year-old Diggs who still produced last year, but who also comes with more risk than before. Reuters also reported he is facing a pending legal matter, and NFL.com specifically noted that issue as part of why he ranked lower than his on-field skill alone would suggest. So Buffalo, if it even entertained this, would need to be comfortable with every part of the picture, not just the route tree. But let's talk pure fit one more time, because this is where Bills fans start dreaming. Josh Allen with DJ Moore and Stefon Diggs on the same offense? Oh man, that is explosive. That is versatile. That is the kind of setup where Joe Brady can attack all levels of the field and force defenses to stop living comfortably. Diggs would not need to come back and be the lone alpha target. That is a huge difference from the old days. He could be part of a broader, deeper, more balanced attack. And that may actually be the best version of this idea. Less save us, Stefon. More join an offense that already has multiple answers and make it more complete. That is how the move makes football sense. So my take is simple, Bills Mafia. Yes, the Bills could bring back Stefon Diggs. The path is there because he is available. The offensive fit is easy to imagine because of Josh Allen, DJ Moore, and the current receiver room. The solution would be a short, smart, incentive-driven contract. The real question is whether Buffalo believes the upside is worth reopening that door. And if the answer is yes, oh man, this offense could get explosive and dominant in a hurry. So tell me now, would you bring Stefon Diggs back to Buffalo on the right deal and try to build one more monster offense around Josh Allen and DJ Moore? Or do you think that chapter should stay closed? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's keep riding. Because if Buffalo ever decides to revisit this story, the whole league is going to talk about it.